Do you have to go up in dose every month? Here's what you need to know. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss journey and I hope you'll join me for the ride. So somebody posted in one of the Facebook groups and it was just a picture of her 3 boxes of Zepbound, 2.5, 5, and 7.5, and she titled it Starter Kit. And without knowing, because again, she's just starting, she opened up an entire can of worms, right? So first of all, there were the people that were upset because we're in a shortage and here she just got 3 boxes of 3 different doses, right? And then there were other people who were telling her, hey, you know, you may be doing yourself a disservice by getting this starter kit because you may get on 2.5 and find that it works for you and you may want to stay on it longer. And now your insurance has already paid for those other 2 doses. So they may not allow you to refill and it may force you to go up in dose, or you don't know how side effects are going to affect you, right? All of these things. So here is everything that you need to know if you are just starting out or if you're very early on in your journey and you're not sure about when you should titrate up or move up in dose. First things first, I like to start out by saying,
you need to be having a very real conversation with your doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm going to give you my opinion based on extensive research and my own personal experience.
But I ain't a doctor. Talk to your doctor. Secondly, a lot of people are getting prescribed Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, and they are not having a whole lot of guidance from their physicians. Now, if you don't have a physician who is experienced in helping patients through this process and they just prescribe it and then do your blood work every 3 months and could care less about what's going on with you, then they may not know that there are certain things that you should be taking into consideration before you're going to the next dose. So first of all, are you having side effects that are really hard to deal with? If you're starting out at 2.5 on Zepbound or any medication, you're starting out on the starting dose and the side effects are intense, it is only going to become more compounded, right? Those side effects when you move to the higher dose. And when you're going from 2.5 to 5, you're essentially doubling your dose there. So you really need to keep that in mind. And me personally, I am convinced that the reason why I transitioned so smoothly from 2.5 to 5, because many people complain about it, the reason why mine went so well is because I was on 2.5 for 13 weeks. I tried to stay on 2.5 as long as it was working. Now, what do I mean by while it was working? I've had people question my verbiage in other videos. So let me explain. I was having appetite suppression. I was having, of course, the feeling of fullness, right? You're able to feel when you're full and you stop eating. I was having, my blood sugar was maintaining very well, right? And also, I was losing anywhere from 1/2 pound to 2 pounds per week. And that's a very healthy amount of weight loss. So, and it was consistent every single week. Now, keep in mind, I track my calories. I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm exercising. I'm doing all the things, staying hydrated, prioritizing protein. If you need more information on that portion, I have a video about that, so go check that out. But assuming you're doing all the things, the medication is working for you, right? You want to stay on it as long as you can. So once the food noise started to come back, I was finding that once I was about 2 to 3 days before my next shot day, I would start being like ravenously hungry. And I worked through that for quite a few weeks because my thought process was eventually at some point insurance is going to stop paying for this. Whether you're on Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, it doesn't matter. You need to understand that insurance can drop you for whatever reason. Or they could require a pre-authorization halfway through the year and say, oh, we're just going to deny this, right? Like it's a game to them. So with that very real understanding, I wanted to feel that hunger. I wanted to see, okay, can I work through this? Can I work through the food noise? Can I work through the hunger? Can I stay in my calorie deficit and still lose weight? And I did. Again, so I would take my shot, I would have suppression for days, and then once it started to get closer to shot time, right, that's when the extreme hunger would kick in. And when I say extreme hunger, I'm not talking about, I'm hungry. I'm talking about you feel like you could, like tear into something right now. You're going to have low blood sugar, like ravenously hungry. Okay, so I'm not just talking about regular hunger cues. I'm talking about serious hunger. So I would deal with that for the 1 day before shot, 2 days before shot, 3 days before shot. Once it got to be 4 days before shot, I said, okay, I'm still doing good. I'm still losing, anywhere from 0.5 pound to 2 pounds per week, but it's getting to the point where it's extremely challenging. And so that's when I decided to move up in dose. So you want to make sure that you're getting your bang for your buck, right? If you jump in and you are one of the fortunate people like myself, and immediately the medication starts working for you, you want to utilize that to your advantage. Stay at the lowest doses as long as it's working for you before you move up. One of the key points that I like to make on why you want to do this is if you are someone who's like myself, who has a significant amount of weight to lose, you have to remember these medicines are only predicted to help you lose 20% of your weight. Now, are there people who lose a hell of a lot more than that? Absolutely. But you may be one of those people that only loses 20%. You put yourself in a better position long term if you have more doses to go up to. It's one of the reasons why they're currently researching making a couple of higher doses for Mounjaro and Zepbound. But those will be in trials for like the next 2 years, so that's not coming out anytime soon. If you just titrate up every single month, right, then you will have exhausted all of your options. You'll get up to the 15, which is the highest dose, and there's nowhere to go from there. So once you reach the point on 15, when your body starts getting used to it, you start having the food noise come back, the hunger, you're not having suppression, right? All of the things that I just previously described, there's nowhere for you to go from there. So at that point, what you have to do is either switch to another medication, which currently there isn't anything on the market better than Mounjaro and Zepbound, and you have to hope that they work for you, right? And you can't, and you may not even be able to start at the lowest doses of those medicines, right? So it becomes very challenging, and what you end up doing is you're pulling the rug out from underneath yourself. Now, some people will start on the lowest doses and they may not lose any weight or see any side effects or anything until much higher doses. And that's perfectly fine. In those instances, yes, you need to titrate up, right, on the recommended schedule. But there are a good chunk of people who lose weight on 2.5, on 5, on 7.5. So you want to be able to stay at whatever dose is working for you as long as you can, so that you've got more room to move up. So if you are somebody who has more than 20% of your body weight to lose, if you've got more than 100 pounds that you need to lose, then you really need to take that into account. Now, if you are one of those people and you're not seeing weight loss until higher doses, that's okay. Don't panic. You can still get to a dose that's working for you and then stay at that dose. Some people, again, don't see results until 7.5 or even 10, and then they stay at that dose for months and months and months and lose all of their weight. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have people, there's a lady that I love to mention in the Facebook groups who she only stayed on 2.5 and lost 116 pounds. I love when she posts. I love it. Her before and after pictures are just stunning, just gold. So it's one of those things, and you're not gonna know until you get on the medication and you try it. Now, you may get on the medication and find, hey, I don't have any side effects. This is not working. I'm not losing weight. I need to move up. And then it happens again and you go, well, I got to move up, right? But if you're getting this starter kit and you don't know what you're in for, you may be shooting yourself in the foot. If you're somebody who has horrible side effects and you're having to go up and dose every month, you are really going to be in for it rough. And I'm not saying that to scare people. I know people get scared about side effects. For the majority of people, they're not scary intense, but there was so much that I learned in that first 13 weeks of being on 2.5 that I would not have learned if I titrated up, right, every single month, every 4 weeks. There was so much I learned about proper nutrition, proper portion sizing, getting used to the medication, because towards the end of my 13 weeks, I had no side effects. None. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It was like pure bliss. I was on the medicine. It was helping me. I had zero side effects at that point because I had gotten used to it. And it was like heaven. It was great. And I was losing, again, 0.5 pound to 2 pounds a week. It was awesome. I wish there was a way to make that happen consistently the entire time. You know, but our bodies get used to it and you have to go up and dose. So it's just something to take into account. There were a lot of people in the support group that were commenting and they were like, oh, this is what's recommended by the company. Oh, this is what my doctor told me to do. Your doctor is going based off of pharmaceutical trials of a good group of people, but this medication affects each individual differently, and you need to find out where you land so that you can make your plan accordingly. And that's why I don't recommend, if you are just starting out, to get a 3-month supply of any single dose, or even a 3-month supply of the first 3 doses. You might be setting yourself up for failure, especially if your doctor writes a prescription. If you decide to stay at a lower dose for longer, you know, is your insurance going to cover that or not? Or are they going to kick it back and go, no, you already got 3 boxes, go up and dose? If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know if you are just starting out, or if you've been on the medication for a while, what dose are you on and how long have you been on it? And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Make sure you check out my other videos where I talk about how to maximize your weight loss and different things, different tips and tricks for making sure that you reach those goals, because you can do it. I know that you can. And don't forget, be kind, rewind.